Which muscles should you strengthen to improve your running performance? Find out in this video. So for simplicity's sake, let's break up running into two different phases. We'll have the acceleration phase, which is where we're going to try to increase our running speed to whatever our desired pace is. And then we'll have our steady state phase, which is where we're going to try to maintain that pace throughout our run. For acceleration, there's two ways that we can increase the speed of running. We can either take more frequent steps, or we can generate more force with each step. And so the calf muscles are what are responsible for generating the force with each step. And so when we're looking at the calf muscles during the acceleration phase, there's a couple things that they have to do. One, they have to be able to generate that force, so just overall strength of the calf muscles. But then it's also important because when we're running, they have to be able to generate that force quickly. Because when we're running, and especially as we run quicker, the time that our foot's actually in contact with the ground decreases. So those calf muscles have to be able to generate that force quickly to propel ourselves forwards. Once we've reached our desired pace, then the muscle function of the calves actually changes a little bit. So instead of contracting to move the ankle joint to propel ourselves forward, they actually shift to more of an isometric muscle contraction, which means that the muscles are still contracting, but they actually don't move the ankle joint. The reason why this occurs is because it's actually metabolically more efficient. If we had to generate the force in our calves to propel ourselves forward with each step, we'd probably quickly run out of the energy required to do that, which means that we wouldn't run very far. And so instead what happens is that since these muscles are contracting isometrically, with each step, the force is actually transmitted and stored in the Achilles tendon. And then when we go through our step, that force is actually released back from the Achilles tendon back to the ground to propel ourselves forward. So essentially we're getting free energy with each step, because the Achilles tendon stretches as we strike the ground, and then as we're propelling ourselves forward, that force is transmitted back to the ground. An easy way to think about this is think about the calf muscles and the Achilles tendon acting as a spring with each step. So as we make contact with the ground, we compress the spring, and then as we propel ourselves forward through toe off, that energy is released from the spring to push ourselves forward. So if we think about springs, the tighter the spring is, the more efficient it is at transmitting that energy. If we have a loose spring, then we're going to lose quite a bit of energy, and that means it's going to be more work for the calf muscles to propel ourselves forward. This means that when we're either rehabbing after a running injury or we're trying to train for running performance, we need to train the calf muscles to work isometrically, essentially trying to build a stiffer spring. And this doesn't mean that concentric and eccentric strengthening isn't important for running. So doing something like a heel raise is important for the acceleration phase, but if we're looking at maintaining that speed throughout a run, then we need to do some isometric strengthening as well. An example of an isometric exercise that we can perform for the calf muscles is either a double leg or a single leg bunny hop. The goal for this exercise is that we're hopping quickly so that our heels actually don't touch the ground. This will help mimic how the calf muscles are going to function when we're running at a steady state. So we'll start off with that double leg bunny hop and then eventually progress to the single leg bunny hop. So in summary, the calf muscles are really important when it comes to running performance. During the acceleration phase, the calf muscles are going to contract to move the ankle to propel us forward. But once we've reached a steady state of running, then the calf muscles are actually going to work in an isometric fashion, meaning that they're not actually going to move the ankle joint, and it's going to function more as like a spring. And this means for training purposes, we need to work on both heel raises, but we also should do some sort of isometric training for the calf muscles, as that's what's going to help us maintain that speed throughout our run. Thank you for watching this video on running performance. I hope that you found this information useful. If you did, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well.